Yes.
Not to cut you off or anything, but welcome to Q&A. We are going to have everyone line up who has questions right behind me. Please do it in an orderly fashion. If you guys would like to say anything, introduce yourselves, just in case someone just got here this morning or doesn't know who you are.
My name is Chuck Huber.
That's... Hi, Chuck. But yeah, so if you guys just want to introduce yourselves, open the floor up to questions, that would be great.
Chuck Huber, Android 17, HEA, Dr. Stein, Austria, a bunch of those people.
Ian Sinclair, I played the people who, if you look at my bio, they got names. There's a lot.
I'm J. Michael Tatum. I play J. Michael Tatum.
You do it really good.
Really
You
good.
sound just like...
Getting a little better at it every day.
Wow.
I do all the things. I don't. It's
Too
like
many to
1,000 shows now. I'm in all of the anime.
He is. Every single one.
Every single one.
Pretty much.
If there's a character who wears glasses, it's probably me.
Yeah.
I'm the neophyte. I'm Brandon McInnis. I'm in some stuff. Yay!
Woo! Woo!
We have 4 different generations that hit Funimation at 4 different times right now.
That's true.
Yeah.
Do.
Early, old school, graybeard.
Old school.
And then you came in like the class before me.
Yeah, I guess so. So like senior.
Yeah.
Not citizen, but like
No.
senior, junior, sophomore,
Sophomore.
freshman.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's true.
That's true.
That's pretty cool. I'm JV.
Yeah. Or you J. Michael.
That's what the J stands
That's
for.
a
JV.
bad joke.
It's a terrible joke. It's all right.
There's a lot
For
of
God's
distance
sake.
between like the freshman and the sophomore, though. There's like they're far closer.
You have had more leads in your time than I had in like the first decade I worked.
Right, 2 years he's been doing this like as much as he has, and it's like what, 3 leads, 4 leads now? Yeah.
And you do a wonderful job.
Shut up, freshman.
Hey, Frosh! I'm gonna paddle you, bruh.
I'm sorry.
Put his head in the toilet.
Okay.
I'm so glad to be a part of the industry. Thank you.
Great, thanks, guys.
All right.
Plus
For God's
ultra.
sake, someone ask us a question.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
It better
Hi,
be here.
my name's Matt.
Hi, Matt.
I actually don't have a question for you guys, but I did just want to take a very brief moment to thank you guys for coming to all these cons and stuff and interacting with your fans. That's actually the most important thing to me when I first ever went to a con, was seeing you guys at autograph tables, interacting with your fans, and you made a lot of their days and made them feel really special. I actually wanted to write a thank you note for you guys. Didn't have time to, so in person, I'd like to thank you guys for coming to all the concerts you go to. I know you guys don't have to do that. We really appreciate it, and it's the thing that is the most important to me.
Thank you.
Curiously enough, it's the most important to us as well. If there weren't fans supporting us at conventions, many voice actors would also be working waiting jobs or bartending
Very
jobs, or
true.
like I did, construction. So you guys support us way more than we give to you. Absolutely, 100%.
Your family.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Or our bosses. I
Hey,
can't
without you guys, remember, without you guys being as awesome as you are, we're just grown-ups in padded rooms making funny voices.
I never thought about it like that.
Right. Which is where most of us would be anyway. There's just a mic in front of us.
I'm getting paid this time.
Yeah, so thank you guys.
I'm
Really,
not
getting
paid,
to come to
probably.
conventions and meet you awesome people is really one of the best things, if not the best thing about what we get to do for a living. So thank you, Matt.
Thank
You're
you.
awesome. Also,
Follow
your
that
sweat.
question.
Hello.
Yo.
Hi.
Mr. Huber, yesterday you told me that your inspiration for Garlic Jr. and Emperor Pilaf was a parody of Edith Bunker from All in the Family.
Oh, Archie!
So for you and the rest of you, what inspires some of your favorite voices? I mean, how did you come up with them, I should say? Was it someone else telling you what to do, or did you... I just wondered what inspired some of your favorite voices that you've done.
I just try to sound like him.
I just try to sound like Ian trying to sound like me.
Inception voice.
Right. My big influences on my voice were probably like the Christopher Lee and Vincent Price, like and Peter Cushing, like the guys that were in the old Hammer horror films that I used to watch reruns of on Channel 39 when I was a little kid. And I loved those voices, those very suave, sinister. They got to say the best lines because there's a scene in some Vincent Price movie where he walks into a haunted house, like the family's already there, and he's like, "Oh, lo, these many years," blah blah. And he starts like going on. Someone's like, "Excuse me, sir." And he's like, "Please do not interrupt me whilst I am soliloquizing. Thank you." You could only say that in that voice, and I'm like, I want to be him when I grow up.
I think I've actually heard you say that exact quote in real life.
It's gonna be like on my tombstone. Please do not interrupt me whilst I am soliloquizing.
It's weird that I am finding, because it's not a conscious thing, as for a lot of your influences, you never, yes, sometimes we think, oh, I'm going to do a Vincent Price, I'm going to do a Jeremy Irons or something like that, but a lot of time it's a weird subconscious thing that you're watching The Simpsons 8 weeks later and you go, oh crap, that's where I got that.
Right.
That happens I was rewatching Freakazoid a month ago. So much of how I deliver comedy is from Freakazoid. It's frightening. That and The Simpsons. It's so good. Because he does all these Jerry Lewis references that if I put that into an anime, some kid who wasn't born while Jerry Lewis was alive is going to be like, I mean, he's dead, right? Okay. Sorry, we've been saying that for 20 years. It's like, is he still going? Is he still doing the charity?
He's in the back going, I'm right here,
Lady! But if we threw that into an anime now, no one would have any idea that that's specifically what we're... I mean, we'd go to a con and one of the parents would be like, did you just like Fronglaven for something? You're like, yeah.
Lady with the Fronglaven. Oh, with the yelling.
Isn't that glorious when one of their parents gets a reference?
Oh, I love that. That's right. The one dad who gets the Temple of Doom and is like, yes! Indiana Jones was a movie. No, I'm just kidding.
Movies are things we used to watch on giant screen. They were only about an hour and a half long.
It's like a YouTube on a big screen.
It's like
Kind
big
of.
YouTube.
You
Yeah.
pay for it. It's like a big YouTube. It's a them too.
They're like big YouTube.
Who are your
More about
influences,
this ancient
Brandon?
technology called film.
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 Who are your influences?
So someone from Nambaka who has a voice like this. I realized later, only in retrospect did I realize that is your sister-in-law's mother, just without the Bostonian accent.
Oh my god. We have to make her watch the show
Maureen's
now.
voice. Because she talks like this, but it's without the accent, of course. So it's just this all the time. What? No! And now you hear it, and you can't unhear
We're
it.
gonna see her in 2 weeks, and I'm gonna
I
the whole
love
time being
her.
like,
She's so much fun.
she's great. Right?
Try.
It's hard to keep a straight face around her anyway. She's like, that Brandon is a prince among men, and don't you forget it.
You listen to that woman.
Hi.
How are you?
So I'm always impressed with the range of voices that voice actors can accomplish, and I was wondering if any of you have ever gone through any vocal or dialect training to help you out with that, or if it's just something that comes naturally.
Yeah, I went to a theater school called the Goodman School of Drama in Chicago, and we did extensive voice work. Kristen Linklater was Linklater's voice work. And Shakespeare and Spolin. Oh, he's stacking
Names up for you. Keep
Dropping all these
Yeah,
names.
yeah.
I hear you.
So I did 4 years of training, $90,000 of debt. You don't need to spend that much to learn how to act. You
No,
really
get a
don't.
marketing degree and take all the acting classes.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Yeah, or
legitimately.
just take workshops. I mean, you can get, if you want to be an actor, you can take workshops in LA and New York and Chicago and Dallas, and you could spend $10,000 taking workshops and you would be a fantastically trained actor. Yeah.
I think that's pretty much the thing with all of this. Like, we all studied it in one form or fashion. I still take workshops because I love a workshop environment. Brandon and I take workshops together. So I teach workshops, and then I go to workshops, and then I just steal from them and bring it to my
That's exactly right.
But yeah, I mean, because there's so many ways to look at acting, but the voice work is really cool. When I was a kid, I had a speech impediment that was really, really bad, and so
What did it sound like?
It was a stutter. It was a halting stutter, so I just could not get through stuff. And so I had a speech therapist for 5 years, and she was really kind of, if you've seen The King's Speech, she was kind of like Jeffrey Rush's character. She was really eccentric and had her own ideas, and she was wonderful with the voice, but she taught me how to do all these cool things to kind of work around my natural reluctance to speak, and then it was awesome. So that got me fascinated in the voice and in like how it worked and how you can kind of hack it to see what you can do. And then I got into theater that way, and then found all sorts of things. When it comes to like the range, most of us, and we kind of touched on this earlier, most of us find our range by trying to imitate a range of people. Yeah. Because like for me, I'm not a mimic at all, but I can try to mimic someone, and in the trying, I come up with a voice that's unique to me. Or appropriate for a character that I'm playing that I wouldn't have arrived at on my own if I hadn't thought, I want to see if I can sound like my sister-in-law's mother, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what we do. We're always kind of canvassing for material. We're usually listening to people and going, I want to do that voice. Yeah. I want to do that thing he just did with his chest voice or his head voice or whatever. And Brandon, you talk about your singing.
Oh, singing. Yeah, I have an opera background. I was trained in opera. I went to a conservatory in Michigan called Interlochen.
You went to Interlochen?
I went to Interlochen.
Holy crap.
Yeah. You know Interlochen.
Yeah, of course.
Right. But yeah, I was there for opera. So I took a lot of classes on things that weren't directly related to voice acting, but gave me a strong base from which to work from that I didn't realize would be there. I took a ton of foreign language diction classes because I had to be able to sing in French, German, and Italian, some Czech, things like that. And so we had to learn all these ways of moving your mouth and everything to make these sounds that were very foreign to us at the time. And I found that it was a great base from which to work from, to play from and learn about your own voice later on when voice acting started.
Ian has an uncanny ability to pick up accents. Where does that come from?
I'm a mimic. I just
doing a British.
No, I have. God, I came up with a term for it. I have unintentional. No, it's something about automatic, reflective. It's empathetic. Vocal. When you hear somebody and you desperately want to communicate.
You're a vocal chameleon.
Yeah, but it's an empathetic response where you're trying to communicate, and that's how your brain is like, I have to give the same output and input that they're giving because that's going to make this easier, and so you just do it. And so it's just a weird thing
so that's been like, hey, hello, Ian.
Oh yeah, no, after a while, man, I'll pick it up. And that's, for me, for my range, I made it a specific kind of point early on in my career that I wanted to have a big range, and I was just doing like small background parts for the first 6 some odd years of it. And so for 2 reasons. A, I never wanted to be the guy that people were like, you do that one voice. And there's tons of people that I know that I deeply, deeply respect that I kind of think have 1 or 2 things that they do. And I did never want to be that, so I worked really hard to make sure that. And B, you make way more money if you can sound besides that one noise, or else they're just going to use you for that one noise. If I only knew how to make a sound that was in your range, I would have half as many roles because you're going to take them. They're not going to give every single one to the same person. They're going to. So the
only exception to that is Chris Sabat.
Yes, but the reason he was able to flex his range so hardcore back in the day is because we weren't doing the simuldub thing, and you were able to cast for that kind of thing. Now, because he is so beautifully signature in that low thing, they just put him into the low stuff. Right. His high stuff is hilarious. Some of his high stuff is really killer, but it's not going to get used because they're going to go, oh no, we need giant dude. Well, you know who you're going to get. Let's get that Chris Sabat. But he should be given far more diverse, and we know about his diversity because of the way it used to work. But I want to make money, and I don't want to be a one-trick pony. That's why I do it.
Hello.
Yep.
It's a weird kind of question. Can we get like an all-around eat-it chop? Yeah.
Everyone has to do the eat-it chop?
Yeah.
Okay, does everyone know how to do the eat-it chop? First of all, what's your idea of an eat-it chop? He has a whole range of chops.
Kind of like...
It's like the thing. It's usually this. That's no, you can't. Yeah. It's like he's doing pinafore. It's so strange without the voice, without context. It's just like.
Remember that Monty Python skit with this form?
Yes.
You're doing like Shakespeare.
And take out a fish and just like.
Oh, Heathcliff.
You're very welcome.
You're welcome.
There's your eat a chop. I love eat a chop. I do that in real life, which is why I got the part, because that's just who I am. Eat a chop!
Hello. So I have a question for Michael. First, I want to comment that you did a line about Jerry Lewis in Italia when you were yelling at Italy.
Oh, did I?
Yes, you did.
Sounds like something Jamie would have written and I would have said.
Yeah, you said, you interrupted my beauty sleep and I was dreaming about chocolate and Jerry Lewis.
Yep, that's a Jamie line.
I heard that very clearly. Second, I wanted to ask you, what's it like to play Ida?
Ida is weird for me because it's like after my first hour in the booth playing him, I just turned to Colleen, the director, and I was like, Colleen, I feel like the original creator just followed me around with a sketchbook. This is just me. This is what I do. This is how I act in an airport. This is how I act when I'm dealing with large groups of people. This is how I was in high school, minus the powers. Look at me, even talking about it, this is the things. I just talk like this because he's very intense. And I'm the den mother. And I'm the extra den mother. I'm the one I'm not the nurturer. I mean, I try to be, but I'm just just want you to know you're doing a good job. No, get out there and kick butt. And that's me. And then I'm also everyone calm down, we're going to be fine. You, stop doing that thing. I don't want you to hand me the gum. That's just my personality. I've kind of gotten more relaxed as I've gotten older, but I'm never far from my Ida persona. It's just who I am. Even I cannot tell you how many microphones I have taken out. But just because I'm a very physical actor too, and when I'm in this tiny little space, I'm already barely fitting in it, and so I'm just kind of I'm gonna move, and I just took out the microphone again, sorry, and all the time. So it's weird playing a character that's like me, because I'm now I want to try to play him cool, because I want to be cool, and I'm but it's no, you just gotta be me. So it's just me. There's barely any acting involved whatsoever. Just me. Even kind of looks like me too. I look like Ida 20 years from now.
So my question is, I already asked you two earlier, but what is the weirdest role you've played? And second, could I give you something?
Can you give me, what is it?
It's a drawing and a pen.
Sure. Thank you.
While she's getting that ready, the weirdest role you've ever played.
What was, I didn't hear your answer.
I think I said Chow Tucker.
Oh yeah, it's Happy Father's Day.
And
what? Yeah? Huh? I think I'm trying to think the weirdest role I've ever played. I played a creature in I've been a lot of things in One Piece, but I played a creature who was a sphinx type thing that was the guard of this prison, and all he did every vocalization was a variation of noodle. So it was ramen, udon, all of it constantly, and that was 30 minutes of his content was just that, having to emote through just noodles. I had to emote through noodles. That was, thank you very much.
And Brandon, the question was also posed to you.
I played my weirdest role 3 or 4 weeks ago. Who here watches Golden Kamuy? Anyone know the show Golden Kamuy? Okay, I got a couple. There in the second season, episodes 1 and 2, there's a taxidermist named Edo Guy, and Edo Guy taxiderms people. That's his thing, and he's crazy and has severe mommy issues. So check it out. It's just you can wherever your brain is running, that's probably true about this character. So. Oh.
I think I was in that show. Yeah, because that sounds familiar. That someone was taxidermy people.
Hi.
Hi.
So this is gonna be the in left field question, but it's not anime related. But
Sure.
If you could bring one person back from the dead and ask them one question, who would they be, and what would be the question?
Jesus. What the F?
You only have. That's both what you ask him and who you would like. Just Jesus.
Oh, that's good. Jesus.
I know, and he just goes, I know.
He'd be like, none of this is my fault. I did it right.
That was not me.
What about you? We always kind of live in fear that you have powers, and then when we say you answer, oh, here they are. Here's Jesus. I'm like, no. Do you have an answer? I don't know.
Not yet. Keep going.
I would pick some
I'll order
famous.
last.
I would pick some famous pirate and be like, "Where was the treasure no one ever found?" Yeah, like I'd go with like Blackbeard and be like, "Hey, there was that treasure you were supposedly lost when your ship sunk. Where is it?" Like, I don't know why he's not bound to tell me, but I would ask. I'd have to ask.
I think I want to bring back Albert Einstein and ask him when in his life he was happiest. Well, no, you just see that picture of him with his tongue out, and you're like, I'm curious. I feel like the answer would be really funny.
It's like you be like Dumbledore. I'm happiest when I'm wearing warm socks.
Like, cool.
Like, genius.
Just do Shakespeare and go, do you really write out in plays? It's like, with a bunch of different people. I'm like, Billy. And then he goes away.
Billy.
Billiam. Billiam!
Oh. Good afternoon.
What was it? Somebody called him like Willie Shakes?
Willie Shakes?
No. Somebody was somebody called him Willie Wigglestick. Willie Wigglestick. Shakespeare. Wigglestick. Wigglestick. Billy Yeah.
Shakespeare.
Billy Wigglestick. Billy Wigglestick.
Oh, Billy Wigglestick.
His name is Billy Wigglestick.
Billy Wigglestick.
I really think I would raise Shakespeare from the dead and be like, does this sound like Shakira? No.
Shakira.
Just ask some asinine question to somebody who's come back from the dead. Like, excuse me, Gandhi. I don't know how to say this. Kim Basinger?
I'll bring the Buddha back and be like, purple.
And it's like, yeah.
Two people laughed at that.
Talk to your parents, they'll know.
Hi.
Hi.
Good afternoon. My name is Eilish. I know it's a bit Indian.
Eilish.
I am a baby voice actor. Please help me, God.
What do you need help with?
Where do I get started? Where do I get hired? What do I do? Please help me.
Well, okay, what you should do is, how much have you studied? Tell me a book on voice acting that you've read cover to cover right now. Do you have one? You don't? Go find one and read it.
No books, workshops, panels.
Cool. Workshops are great. Panels are great. The advice I will give you right out of the gate, and this is free, is study the business side of it. It's not the side anyone is interested in. Everyone has this view, and I know I'm right there with you. This is not a judgment. I was in the same place. I think we all were. I'm going to be an actor, and I'm going to get that role, and then everything will be taken care of for the rest of my life. Hell no. You are self-employed, and it is up to you to find the work, find the agent, cut a demo, go to workshops, network with studios, and balance all that without being too aggressive, so aggressive that you burn bridges, because some actors make that. God knows some actors make that mistake. But really, you just have to understand, it's a weird life. It's not a 9-to-5 job. There's no security. Your job as an actor is 95% interviewing. For every job you get, there's about 100 jobs you auditioned for and didn't even get considered for. So the most important piece of advice I can give you, secondly, from learning the business side of it, learn the business side. There's a wonderful book I recommend. I'm sure everyone on the panel has their own favorite. Mine is called The Art of Voice Acting. It's by James Albinger. It's the only book with that title, so don't worry about his name so much. It'll come up. It covers the artistic, craft, theatrical, acting chops side of it, which is absolutely necessary, but it also covers the business side. What is a demo reel? How to know you're getting a good deal with a studio that's cutting one for you? How to find an agent? How to shop? When do I cut a different demo reel if no one's biting? Things like that are covered, and you have to learn that, because I promise you, if you do not learn the business side of that, there are seedy people in this industry that are more than happy to fill that vacuum with their own brand, with their own agenda, and it's not in your best interest. You have to learn how to support and protect yourself in this business. Do that. Second piece of advice, don't take it personally. If you don't get that audition, if you feel heartbroken because you didn't get something, it's not because you're not an actor, it's because you're just not who they had in mind, and there is nothing you can do about that. No skill set that can protect you from that eventuality. You're not going to get picked for everything, and just go about your day. Send like, cool, that's fine, didn't get it, move on to the next thing. Cool? And keep taking workshops every day.
Andy Field teaches a class online called The Business of Voiceover, And he, when I met him, he's a Five Nights at Freddy's actor. When I met him, he was Andy Field, like a field of flowers. Business of voiceover, Andy Field. He, when I met him, he was a full-time teacher, and he went from being a full-time teacher in about a year. And he knows all the places to audition, for starters. He knows how to deal with each of them. He knows how to get your own clients. He does instructional online voiceover work. If I were starting now and had my booth at home and I didn't already have the career that I have, I would take his class first and foremost. He's like, yeah, I've got these Chinese clients, and like he's got clients all over the world. He does a totally self-started, but the point being though, like once you figure out all the places to plug into, make sure you're good to go before you start plugging into them, because you don't want to accidentally get the big chance and not be ready for it.
And I know things are slightly changing with the way the voiceover works, but unless you live in a market where they're doing it, none of that we all said matters, because you can't work. Like if you don't live in Houston, Austin, Dallas, Los Angeles, New York, and yeah, that's about it. If you don't live in one of those cities, you are not going to be an anime voice actor.
You won't be an anime voice actor, but Andy Field's class, he lives in Biloxi. Yeah. And a lot of the people he teaches build their home studios from the middle of Nebraska and start booking work. Exotic Butters, I think.
That and save your money. Like, for legitimate, the best advice I give to early actors is, even if you, get some gig where you earn $8,000 for 1 hour's worth of work, you spend not a dime of that. You have your daily job that was because you need a job that is your day, your factory job. We're just, from here on out, I'll call it the factory job. Everybody in this industry has a factory job. So that factory job is what keeps you fed. And then you're going to have those moments where you're like, I just made a lot of money! And if you spend that like you just made a lot of money, you're going to have a nice, neat porcelain dog in your living room, and you will be broke.
That's what I did at the beginning. When I started in Chicago, I was booking all these national TV, and I thought I was going to be rich forever. I bought 2 motorcycles. I was buying everybody drinks at the bar, and then it ended. And I was selling my motorcycles. It was really stupid.
As an actor, and it's something I've had to tell my family, I don't make a certain amount of money. I have made money. If, with the exception of some Funimation shows that we're all pretty sure are going to keep going, I am never guaranteed another penny for the rest of my life, and I have to accept that. And I have to know that anybody that I date has to accept that. So, you live as poor as humanly possible, take those money, and if you can invest it, that's genuinely the best thing, because you will hit quiet patches, and then if you got backup money sitting around, you're okay. But if you go buy that neat new lightsaber, you're gonna have a lightsaber and a third job.
Jess and I always talk about we fly our planes so close to the ground that we never crash, we just land. So we try to keep it really, really cheap.
Hi, how's it going?
Yeah, it's good going.
All right, I just wanted to ask you, what was the most physically imposing role you guys have ever played?
As a voice actor?
Yeah, as a voice actor, something where you got behind the microphone in the booth, you walked out oh my god, I hope I never have to do that again.
Oh yeah.
My vocal cords are killing me.
Shout Tucker was like that actually, because he whispered in his Chimera form, and whispering is very hard on your voice, so it's really difficult. Seemingly wouldn't be, but it was.
Condon de Greyman was really painful.
It's an unusual choice because the voice is just my own, but Okabe in Steins Gate was really, really hard, very physical, because he's a very physical character, and he's talking a lot. He takes so much breath. Because he's always monologuing, but he's also extremely emotional, so his voice cracks a lot, and he cries or he screams in just my voice, which is, by the end of a 4 or 5 hour day of recording him, I'm I need to go to bed and just not vocalize at all, because it's harder on your voice than you would think, just being you in really intense, emotionally fraught situations, which is all that show is.
Emotions burn calories, man. With the mental energy you put forward to those emotions, that will burn calories.
I lost like 20 pounds playing Okabe.
There's a show called Dios Irae that I play a character named Ray in, and there are some really high stakes fights in it that he's in. There's one scene where like all of his limbs have been ripped off, and he's like screaming at this dude for like 5 minutes straight. That was rough.
Little tip you may have learned if you were listening, though, if you feel your voice is going, don't whisper. It's actually worse for your voice than screaming.
No.
Super bad.
Hello, gentlemen.
Hello.
So this is a two-part question for Tatum. I was told to ask you.
God.
Yes. When you kissed Ian Sinclair, did you use tongue? And who's a better kisser, Brandon or Ian?
Brandon uses tongue.
Watch the video.
Yeah, the answer is usually Brandon. Ian and I kissed for charity. It was a stage kiss.
Oh, you're talking about the time for charity. I gotcha.
Ian. That kiss got the charity. It got him a good chunk. Like, they were like, how much? And we're like, we'll kiss each other. And Ian was like, we will? I'm like, shut up, Ian, it's for charity.
I like how he said, we'll do that. And I was like, He's like, we're doing this. I'm like, what? And then every camera in the planet just went, whoop. And he goes,
I was like, sorry, Ian, this is going to haunt your career forever. But it's for charity. But
what? Like, oh, that's a bad thing? Like,
but I didn't
Which
use
one
tongue.
of you would sit out there and be like, man, Michael Tatum kissed me one time. My life is bad because Michael Tatum kissed me. Who's going to be upset about that?
No one.
You're gentle.
Oh, well.
but firm in all the right ways. You have to. There's a certain amount. Sorry, Brandon.
But Brandon is.
It was
the
way.
better
But you were. Yeah, were you? You weren't even. Maybe I met you once.
I don't have to be gentle with Brandon. What?
Where did it happen?
It happened in. It was an anime detour.
Sure.
A convention.
Why not?
Wherever it was snowing outside.
Like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Isn't this frightening?
Oh. Do you remember that kiss we had when we were young? Our whole lives went ahead of us.
It was so nice. We gave it for charity. Charity kisses.
It's just gonna like disintegrate into our old forms.
Yes. Hello.
Hello. First, I'd like to say to Tatum that you have actually inspired me to become more confident speaking in front of others. Like you, I had speech therapy as a child, except I didn't have a stutter. I had a really bad lisp. So I guess my question for everyone is: do you have any advice for someone for becoming more confident in speaking?
It's such a tricky one to answer because everyone's own relationship with their voice is unique, and I still don't have the healthiest relationship with my voice. I don't think anyone does. We're always much more critical of ourselves than anyone else will be. That's a piece of advice for you. But when it comes to like acting or speaking publicly, or just where you have to communicate to people and be who you are, like people aren't looking for perfections. They're not looking for someone that's polished. They're not looking for someone that's selling them on something. They're looking for someone who's real. And if a lisp is part of who you are as a real person, use it. We have a teacher that loves to say that your performance, and I could be talking about being on stage, voice acting, or just talking with someone in real life. There's an element of performance in it. Your performance lives in the imperfections. That's where it is. Like polished stuff sounds, it sounds canned. It sounds like someone, it's like the difference between someone that's going like, I really like your hat. Like it just struck me that I like your hat. And so I say it in a weird way. You hear, I'm just like, hat. I'm not really thinking about how it comes out. If I was trying to just use like the fact that like his hat is a way to get to him, like, I really like your hat. That's a salesman, and he's instantly on guard. Like, what do you want? Because I don't really care about his hat. That's just an entree. So I go like, have you thought about Amway? And so people tend to be, like, the human mind is riveted to what is real. And whatever that reality is, they're for it. Like, I am much more impressed by someone that has the courage to speak through a speech impediment than someone who has a gorgeous voice for whom there's very little at stake. So I think most people feel that way. So understand, if you have that kind of relationship to your voice because you don't think it's perfect, or you have a speech impediment, or you don't know the right thing to say, that is what makes you engaging if you own it.
All right.
There's that.
theater stuff is really good. A lot of us who, have had to go to ADD schools and stuff like that, theater, it's the only reason I can be in front of people. Is because I did a ton of that. It teaches you how to fake it. And then in most things in life, you fake it until you make it. You learn that, oh crap, I'm supposed to smile with my eyes too, instead of just going. And yeah, theater is great for teaching that thing. And I'm also going to tell you, if there is a human being that you know that won't like you or spend time with you because of something like a speech impediment, that's a crappy person, and please don't be around them. That's a bad person. As you're older, you realize it's just like, those are bad people. Oh, I don't need to be around bad people. And if they're going to be awful to me, then that's an awful person.
Yeah, it is not your job to make assholes like you.
A-holes.
Period. So don't do it.
Yes, your time. If you want to be a better speaker, you should take every opportunity you can to speak and decide that any mistakes you make aren't going to kill you. Although they've done studies on the human body, the most stressful thing you can do to the human body is to try to land a jet aircraft on an aircraft carrier at night in the middle of the ocean. The second most stressful thing you can do to the human body is make it stand up in front of a group of people and speak. So acknowledging that what's going on physiologically inside your body is something intense, massive, and really, really powerful. But then once you understand that that's a superpower that you get to use, because it's an energy, and that's a lot of the reason we become actors, is because we start to harness that energy. Take time, practice. Push yourself, go to the city council meeting and speak out on a bill, go down to the State House and speak out in front of a congressional subcommittee. Take really extreme chances that, as long as you know it's not going to kill you, and there's no downside to it, like speaking in front of a city council, because you're not going to lose a job. Young people who want to act, I say, go take a giant risk that terrifies the crap out of you, but there's no downside to. A city council, school board, these are opportunities for you to stretch yourself beyond what you thought you could do. And then when you go to speak in front of the class or go to the acting class, you're going to be like, my nervous system can handle this. I'm okay. So do it. Do it as often as you can.
That is fantastic advice.
I think we all learned something there. That was good.
Hi, I'm Charlie, and
Great name.
I want to ask, do you guys have a fallback voice for, do you use your normal voice as a fallback voice for when you voice characters, or do you tend to try to vary it as much as possible? For example, Okabe is pretty close to Michael's voice, and Scar is not.
Right.
Oh yeah. When I started, I didn't really know what to think. I actually thought that I had no range whatsoever when I started, and which was freeing in a way, because I thought I'll just use my regular voice. And I learned that that wasn't the case, but I find now that I get cast more just for my regular voice. Like, I have voiced more characters, and especially more leads, just with my regular voice than any other voice, which has been cool.
In general, with anime, we tell a lot of new people, you want to use your own voice. You're able to make greater acting choices as well. The only drawback for, you had it with Okabe and I had it with Space Dandy, to a certain degree, when people first meet that character as one of your first big ones, everything else that you do, they're like, I can hear the other thing. You're like, yeah, that's because my bass line. You know my bass line. They're like, oh, well, the Okabe, you're doing a voice. You're like, that's me. That's just me doing me. And then everything else. But when you're able to just use your own voice, people in their speech go up and down, and then they make funny voices. They do all kind of things when they do that. And when you're not tied to, I have to sound like this for everything, and all my choices need to be from here. That's limiting you to that. So own voice is great for that.
I don't often, like when I go into to record for a character for the first time, I don't necessarily have an idea of the voice I'm going to use. it comes from like my first impression. So it's often that I will see a character and like just kind of immediately get an impression of like, I hear a voice in my head. Oh, Scar should sound like that, I think. And then I try to recreate what I'm hearing in my head with varying degrees of success. And the director either loves it or don't. We tend to craft it together. I use my own voice so often because my voice in day-to-day life has range. Like I will talk to someone behind the counter at a Starbucks differently than I will talk to a friend that I've known for years. You know, like when Ken and I are hanging out, I'm like, hey, what's wrong? I'm up here, you know, but that's still just my voice, and that's just me naturally using it. So what you're hearing in the booth, or what you're hearing on a show, is just me in the booth finding what part of my natural voice fits this character, and I used to think a lot about it. I used to look at the character and really study them and try to figure out, you know, how, and I still do sometimes if the character is way outside of a range I've explored, but the director believes in me for some reason, and I'm like, okay, I will try this. I've got news for you guys. Every character I've ever played is just me. I don't believe in character. I don't think character is an actor's thing. I think character is what the audience, that's a judgment the audience is privileged to make based on what they're seeing happen in the story. And I'm not the one telling the story. The director's not the one telling the story. The animators are not the one telling the story. You guys are the ones telling yourselves the story based on the beats that we're giving you. So when I am a particular voice or a character, like it's not some magical cloak I put on and I become Sebastian or this. It's already in here somewhere. And I've just never before I've gotten the boot for that particular part have I ever encountered a context which allows that facet or those facets of my personality to come out. That's what acting I think really is you just being present with the reality of what's happening to that person in that moment, and if it's real for you, what comes out is always appropriate. And sometimes there are little technical things, little styles you have to add to it, like a particular weft and wold of like the way Sebastian sort of talks like this, you know, and there's an accent or there's certain laugh things you have to concern yourself with. But for the most part, it's just me. These are all things I do all the time. They're just concentrated in this instance or in this instance or in that instance. It's like a cosplayer will tell you, like when they put on the outfit, they look great. They don't become someone other than themselves. The costume or the cosplay just gives different facets of their personality that don't normally have a chance to come out, now have permission to come out and take the reins. And that's how I approach it. So I don't really think about what voice am I going to use, it's just what voice comes out, because that's my natural instinct to what's happening to that character. Does that make sense? Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with what J-Mac said there, 100% for sure.
I love that you call me J-Mac.
Yeah.
It's my favorite thing. It's like my favorite nickname, J-Mac.
The only thing I would add is that if you remember back to the first time you heard your voice recorded and played back to you, right? But that is absolutely the strongest, most unique voice that you could ever create. There is nothing more unique than that person you heard that time that horrified and embarrassed you. That's who you are. And like the more comfy you get with that voice, the more ability you're gonna have to use it. It's only in denying it that you end up distancing yourself from the character instead of embracing yourself in the character.
Thank you guys. We do have 15 minutes left, so if we could just keep the questions short, sweet, as much as we can. I know you guys.
I'll stop talking.
I didn't want to bring out the ball.
So good.
Hi. So I was here for the My Hero Academia panel, and you probably know this question, but have you ever, when you went in the booth to record for like a line, have you ever did it in like a different voice, like a sexy kind of tone, or anything like that?
You mean just like messing around? Oh yeah, all the time. Like there's a scene, there's an episode from not long ago where all Ida does, he doesn't have a line the entire time, he's just running in the background. So it was like 20 minutes of me, and I would like mess with Colleen by just doing all kinds of like, or whatever, just to do it. So yeah, when you have time to play, yeah, we do that stuff all the time.
Hello.
Hey.
First of all, I wanted to thank you, Michael, for an awesome time at your 101 panel.
I was one half of the couple that came up at the end.
And now you have a knife.
I do. And thank you, Ken, for helping me and my boyfriend get through that anxiety attack. So,
You were awesome, by the way. You killed it.
thank you. So my question to all of you is, have any of you ever cosplayed, or for those of you who have done stage acting, when you're in costume, have any cosplay like struggles, like malfunctions, like, oh, I look good, but I am in pain?
I played Laertes in Hamlet, but I also played the player queen. And getting into drag is hard. It is very difficult. And then just playing a woman believably and just regularly that was a big challenge. And it was a big show, and so it was important to me to do it well. That was really hard. That was difficult. Fake eyelashes are hard to put on, and how do you girls do that? That's so
I did a trilogy of shows, and in the first one, it's called the Nibrock Trilogy, and then the first one, it takes place over 15 years, and it was just the two of us in it, and our quick changes were so quick that I wore all 3 scenes clothes at once, and I was supposed to be a guy, first scene, he's in the military, and then by the end of it, he's an epileptic who has like lost a bunch of weight because he's like, he can't go into war, and he isn't working out, and he's all super depressed and all this kind of stuff. So as we took off the layers from military outfit to fair outfit to outfit for this like date thing, I was wearing less, and it looked like I was getting skinnier throughout the play because my guy wasn't. It just kind of worked out. But for the first whole third of the play, I've got like 4 jackets on and layers, and I'm just sweating, and then I have to have an epileptic fit at the end of it, and I'm just wearing all that, changing in between, and then come back out like, oh hi, I didn't see you there.
I remember just a few days ago, I was doing a short film, and I was playing a cop, like an 80s cop. It was like a funny like send-up of Miami Vice. And I had this ridiculous and kind of awesome wig and a mustache. And they looked ultra real, like they were really cool. Like the makeup artist was awesome, but the wig was super tight. It had to be so that I could do certain things with my hair, like in the scene that made it not look like a wig. And throughout the day, she kept telling me, now when you start getting headaches, let me know, and I'll just start cutting the elastic band in little spots to free it up. And so throughout the day, I just kind of like, I'd do a line, and then I'd turn, the makeup artist's name was Jamie. I'm like, Jamie, yeah, I can't do math anymore. So she'd put me down and do it, but I still have a wig like mark up here, yeah, because it brought my hair down, my hairline down quite a bit, which I'm like, can I just bring this home? But man, it's painful. Wigs are hard, you guys.
I did a production of The Drowsy Chaperone, and I played Adolfo. And Adolfo is, for reasons that you'll understand when you see the show, he also plays the Chinese emperor. And in our show, the Chinese emperor had this long mustache, this long, like, Fu Manchu mustache. And the song that he sings with his scene partner in that point of the musical is ridiculous. It's meant to be absolutely absurd. And in the middle of it, there is a point where he freezes with the woman he's singing the song with. And the narrator of the show talks to the audience for a little bit. Well, this mustache began to fail as I was singing in this very presentational, like 1940s style. And it just slowly started peeling off my face.
And you're like, oh.
And part of the comedy of the musical at that point is how like unconvincing the character is as being believably Chinese. It's kind of a comment on that entire thing. So it was great because here I am frozen, and I was fine. I was not breaking, even though my mustache was half off. And then my scene partner just died laughing, and I couldn't contain it, and the audience was laughing, and we like laughed our way through the rest of the song. It was pretty great.
Austin Tyndall played Holmes to my Watson, and he had a big old fake mustache. And one time we finished the play, and it's in the round at Theater 3, and he was sitting right next to the audience. We sort of finish in this sort of angry tableau-ish type thing to each other, and this old man in one of the matinees right there goes, I like your mustache, just right at the end. And him and I are looking at each other like, don't break, don't break, don't. Finally, we both had to go,
Brandon was doing Drowsy Chaperone, and that happened again the second night when I came to see it. Like, he told me about the mustache. I'm like, just let go.
It's a bit.
It was a bit, but it was great. So in that scene, eventually the narrator tells them, okay, you guys get off the stage. Just go. And they're supposed to angrily leave. And so Brandon just, like, has the mustache just, like, barely hanging on. He just goes, he threw it down on the stage, and, like, it was the biggest laugh of the night. It was awesome.
All right, so we've got 10 minutes left. Would you guys like a lightning round, or would you, someone's causing feedback. Would you guys like a lightning round, or would you like to try to get through this? We're probably only gonna get like 2 more.
Ian's gonna lightning round.
Okay.
This is Ian's
So
thing.
guys, I'm sorry, we're gonna have to ask you guys to sit down. We're sorry we weren't
See if
able to
you
get
can
to
lightning round your questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I'm aware, and you're gonna get it if you just take a seat and raise your hand. Okay.
Cool.
Can we get lights?
Yep, well, I'll take care of that now.
Cool. So this is how I like to end all my panels. It's a lot of fun, and I get to learn a lot about you, and you get to learn a lot about us. I want you to figure out have you done one of these with me? Oh, fun! I want you to come up with the weirdest questions you can think of. Something that'll stump us. Something we can answer in just a couple words. Something, small. You ask us, who's your, what is your process for something? We're just gonna go on top of your mom and just keep moving on. Like, we can't do that. We gotta answer as many things as possible. We're gonna make it short, sweet. An example I like to give is, if you had a magical unicorn, what flavor ice cream would it poop?
Chocolate chip cookie dough.
Asparagus.
Oh God, I love you. You're so good at this game.
Asparagus ice cream?
Right. You have to raise your hand.
Makes your pee smell funny.
I'm crazy ADD, so if I don't see hands, this ain't gonna work. So when I don't see hands anymore, we're all going to dinner. So you gotta have questions or we're gonna leave. So you would like to ask a question, go ahead. Hi. I'm going to take this at a lightning round consideration. The easiest and the really coolest part about it is we watch it in Japanese right before we do it, and so we watch the scene. So the key to it is just to kind of make sure that we're doing the thing justice that we just saw it. If they are angry and high pitched, we go angry and high pitched. If they're low, that's what we do.
Yeah.
Thank you for the question.
Yeah, same for Hiei. I did the same thing. You listen to the Japanese.
And you just try to do it.
That's our inspiration. You can't imitate them, but you let that be your inspiration for how it's going to sound.
True. Yep. Great question. Lightning, go.
Yes, Hans Volter is angry Austria.
Awesome. Question. If you could be a food, what would it be?
A steamed bun.
A nice loaf of stromboli.
I would be balut because no one would eat me.
Ooh, French bread. That's the right answer.
That. Yes. How long y'all been together?
5 years.
I'm glad you had the same answer. Yes. You gotta wear food as shoes for one day. What is it gonna be?
Pancakes.
Oh, that's good. Really well done cooked steaks.
Broccoli cheese bread bowls from Panera.
I like it.
I'm going to wrap my feet with udon noodles.
Ooh, udon, yes. Highest pitched voice you can do.
This one.
Oh, you mean pitch-wise?
Oh, damn. Missed that joke.
Dude.
I'm gonna do a lot of voices.
I don't know how much voice I can do is this one, but it's me.
No, that's very good.
Yeah,
That's very good, though.
That's really nice. It's me doing my.
Brandon wins. Brandon wins. Gotta see a hand. Yes. How much sugar can you eat before it ruins your day?
All
I
of
haven't
it.
discovered it yet.
Best one. Oh, yes. What's your midlife crisis hobby gonna be?
It is hiking.
It is hiking for me too!
Voice acting.
Probably write a musical.
Ooh, yes. Ooh, your
Mustard.
Ooh.
Mayonnaise.
Pickle relish.
Durkeys. Does anybody remember turkeys? Yes.
If you could visit one country you have not been to yet, what would it be?
Visit one country you haven't been to.
Russia.
Tibet.
America 6 years ago.
Thailand.
Okay. Yes.
Favorite candy bar?
Favorite candy bar?
Reese's.
Three Musketeers.
Milky Way Dark.
Butterfinger. Yes. Ooh, have you?
I saw a UFO when I was young.
Oh my god, it's a story I can't tell, but I touched like a weird scaly thing in the bedroom of a friend's house, and it went out the house and like took off out of a window, and the cop that came was like, was it a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? He was just being a smartass, but I felt something.
I heard creepy voices from shrines that I was running past at 3 a.m. when I lived in Japan.
Ooh, that's good. Yes, sir. Ooh. Soda is raining from the sky. What soda is it?
Coke Zero.
Diet Mountain Dew.
Seltzer.
That's a healthy option.
I don't know, Sprite. Sprite's the first thing that came to mind, yeah. You only can see one color, guys. What is it?
Blue.
No, yellow.
I'm not gonna follow that. I can't.
Yes. You can be any type of animal, real or imaginary. Like what?
It would be a gecko.
Oh, why?
Velociraptor.
Our French bulldog.
Oh my god, to be Genji, right? Pig dragon. Yeah.
The hills are alive with the sound of music.
Very good. What's your question? Most useless superpower.
A shirt straightener.
Sneezing cream cheese.
Able to put the USB in at the right side the first time, every time. Every time. No, that's useful. That's useful. That's useful. Oh, no. Yeah, but someone's getting mugged and I'm like, whoa.
USB.
Yes.
J. Michael Tatum.
Orson Welles. He's dead, so that's quite a
That would be a great
signal.
phone call.
Yeah.
I thought you were dead. Did you already answer?
Meryl Streep.
Oh,
Meryl
that's
Streep.
good.
How's my outfit?
Just Tom Hanks, because I feel like he would be a good daily affirmation. Just be like, hey, you're doing great, bud. And you're like, oh, thanks, Tom Hanks. Yes. Favorite impression to do?
I do the same impression for every voice. When everyone asks me to do an impression, it's like this. Okay, here's my Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Lately for me it would be Professor Scratch and Sniff from Animaniacs. It's a family member who has this.
She has this really high-pitched voice and she can't hear anything, so she's always like, you mumble, I can't understand your words.
Oh, Sam,
That's your
I
problem.
don't want to go to Mordor.
Oh, that's good. Werner Herzog is my close backup. He's always Werner. What is your question? Oh, no. We went political. No. Yeah. What colors are underwear?
Orange?
Black.
I'm not wearing any underwear.
I don't know. Orange, I got it right.
Blue.
Navy and
Yellow.
stripes.
You haven't asked a question. Ooh. You could be a famous painter.
The Kiss. Okay.
The raft, the Medusa.
Anything Van Gogh.
I'm a canvas suit.
I'll be a screen critic of a Campbell soup can.
Yeah, yes. Go ahead. An author you want to smack upside the head.
The woman that wrote 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Valid.
Second.
Valid. Someone who hasn't asked a question. You haven't asked a question, have you? What's your question? Favorite Disney movie?
Do Pixar movies count because they're under Disney? All the Pixar movies.
Nemo.
Avengers Infinity War.
101 Dalmatians.
Oh, nice. Yes. Go ahead. Alpacas or llamas?
I don't know the difference.
I don't really either.
I'll go llama.
Alpaca.
Alpacas are more useful, I'm guessing. They spit less. Someone who hasn't asked. You haven't asked. First voice line that comes to your mind, go. I'm glistening with man grease. I've said it.
I want to touch your monkey.
Oh, lieben Schmeiminky.
I'm simply one hell of a deer.
That was so cool. All right. You haven't asked one yet. What is the weirdest animal combination you can think of? Go.
A chicken and a giraffe.
And that's called?
A giraffe.
There, it's very right. Come on, Michael.
A scorpion and an iPhone.
What's it called?
An iPhone 4.
That's good, that's good.
A cow kitten.
What do you call it?
Cow kitten.
I was just call them meow.
Mew.
Yeah, I'm a pig dragon. I'm picking. A Snyder. What's that? Snakes. Oh god, that's nightmare fuel. That's good. That's horrifying. Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's good. And on that note, thank you for coming to our panel.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching.